A successful painter returns to the countryside to hire a gardener for his neglected garden. As he inspects the overgrown weeds, the doorbell rings. He answers the door and is surprised to find his elementary school classmate, a friend he hasn't seen in over 30 years. "Remember me?" the old friend asked with a grin. Back then, they called themselves Adventure Kings, running wild through fields and villages. Their boldest prank was secretly replacing the teacher's birthday cake candles with firecrackers painted white. Everyone laughed like crazy, the painter recalls. "I got a beating for that," the friend adds. "My mom even yelled, 'Don't kill him.'" They burst into laughter, now cherishing what was once a scandalous expulsion. Time has passed. One became a renowned Parisian painter, the other a retired railway worker, but their childhood bond remains. With that connection, the painter naturally hires his old friend as the gardener. A simple decision that unexpectedly alters his life. Gardener takes over the garden, working 3 fixed days a week. A practical, optimistic man deeply connected to the land, he approaches even buying a sickle with care. At the hardware store, the clerk asks, "Shall I wrap it?" Gardener shakes his head. "No, I need to test it first." The painter, puzzled, asks, "Why test it?" Gardener chuckles. "If you worked with your hands, you wouldn't ask." He swings the sickle expertly, listening to the blade's sound. "A good sickle sings like this, z z z." The painter's marriage is crumbling. He and his wife are separated, their relationship hanging by a thread, with their only daughter urging divorce. Though this stems from his past affairs with models while painting, he insists, "I still love my wife." Gardener nods understandingly, though privately skeptical. He and his wife have been happily married for 27 years. He quits smoking and drinking at her request, and they vacation yearly at budget seaside towns. "Every morning, we go to the beach and camp on the sand," Gardener says, smiling. "She applies sunscreen while I sit there." "Doing what?" the painter asks. "Watching her," Gardener replies simply. Their routine: lounging, strolling, returning for free hotel lunches and naps, then more walks and sitting by the sea. Sounds mundane, but to him, being carefree with the one you love is everything. His gaze softens, as if seeing that shared shoreline again. He also gets along well with his 2 daughters and sons-in-law. The painter listens quietly, then suddenly realizes, this seemingly ordinary old friend, Gardener, possesses the very treasure he has never obtained. After reuniting over 40 years later, the 2 old friends grow close again. Every time Gardener comes to work, he brings the painter freshly baked bread. The aroma always reminds the painter of his childhood. To avoid dirtying the house, Gardener takes off his mud-covered yellow rain boots at the doorstep. Surprisingly, he isn't wearing regular socks inside but thin house slippers. What a clever design, the painter can't help but admire. Easy to slip on and off, and keeps your feet dry. Gardener finally asks the question on his mind. "Why did you leave a place like Paris, the heart of art, to live in this countryside?" "Because this is my roots." He shares his story. Years ago, he refused to inherit the family pharmacy and insisted on becoming an artist, leaving his hometown behind. It wasn't until 3 years ago, when his father passed and his mother soon followed, that he returned to sort through their belongings. That's when he discovered his father had secretly painted many landscapes. Every one was lifelike, the painter says. "I began to understand him. He never had the courage to say no." Turns out, his own father also loved painting but had to give up his talent to support the family. This late realization is what led the painter back to the countryside, filled with memories, when his marriage was falling apart and he grew tired of Paris. Here, he not only finds peace but also rediscovers his old friend. As they spend more time together, the painter notices Gardener doesn't drink alcohol or coffee, so he buys fine tea to serve him. To make it easier for Gardener to tend the garden while he's away in Paris, the painter even gives him a spare house key. They also drop formalities. The painter dislikes being called boss, so they agree. Gardener calls him Dauber, and he calls Gardener Gardener. Gardener's wisdom never fails to amaze Dauber. Every afternoon, Gardener eats a salted fish without fail. "Good for blood circulation," he says seriously. He also reminds the painter, "Always carry a small knife and a piece of rope. It could save your life, remember that." Even more astonishing, once on a sunny day, he suddenly warns, "Be careful driving, rain's coming." "Really? You think so?" The painter is skeptical. "Not think, I know," Gardener replies. Sure enough, within half an hour, a downpour starts. These simple yet profound bits of wisdom make the painter, while attending a high society gathering in Paris, suddenly asks a room of boastful artists. Have you ever heard of Z? Seeing their puzzled looks, he smiles to himself, remembering the rhythmic Z of gardener's swinging sickle. That simple sound holds true as these so-called artists could never grasp. When the painter returns to the countryside, the sight before him fills him with delight. Gardner not only cultivates a neat plot of land with tender green seedlings of various vegetables and fruits, but also gives the house a fresh makeover, walls repainted, plumbing and wiring all redone. As Dauber marvels at these changes, Gardner notices a woman returning with him and quickly asks, "Is her your wife? Did you make up with your wife? Didn't you see her age?" "She's my student," Dauber explains. Gardner, simple and straightforward, doesn't quite grasp the complexities of urban art circles, but he never judges or interferes. Whenever he sees the young girl, he still greets her politely, knowing his place well. As a lifelong railway worker who values punctuality, Gardner holds himself to strict standards. Once, when he was late, though Dauber didn't mind at all, he couldn't forgive himself. It turned out his son-in-law, a supermarket security guard, had lost his job, and his daughter wouldn't stop crying about it. "He can find another job," Dauber reassured him. "Don't you watch the news?" Gardner shakes his head. "Jobs are as rare as tigers these days. If young people lose their jobs now, they stay unemployed for a long time." Hearing this, Dauber quietly picks up his phone and calls a friend. Soon, he secures Gardner's son-in-law a job maintaining order at a football team, perfect for the football-loving young man. "I'll never forget your kindness, my friend," Gardner says excitedly. "Don't make a big deal out of it. Just a phone call," Dauber replies casually. "I'll go tell them the good news right away." Gardner hurries off, his back brimming with gratitude. The next day, Gardner brings homegrown cauliflower as a thank you gift. He even prepares photos to introduce Dauber to his two daughters and son-in-law, eagerly sharing stories of the sights and people he and his wife encountered on their short trips. The talkative old man, full of gratitude for life, openly shares his little joys with the artist. In contrast, Dauber struggles with his art. To please the market, he paints things he doesn't care for. To showcase technique, he creates abstract landscapes from his imagination rather than real scenes. The more abstract, the more it seems to impress, he tells Gardner with a bitter smile. But such work neither moves him nor brings real joy. What frustrates him even more are the custom portraits for clients. Gardner simply says, "It's good if it sells." Though he lacks education and knows little about art, watching Dauber paint always lifts his spirits. "Every piece finds someone who appreciates it," he says plainly. "Every home has the right painting for it." These simple yet wise words, like spring rain, soothe the artist's restless heart. And then there's Gardner's well-tended garden, the thriving vegetables, plump fruits, and vibrant colors, silently healing Dauber. Here, he finally rediscovers the purity and peace he lost in Paris' flashy art circles. Just as the painter adjusts to country life, his daughter surprises him with a visit. But the joy quickly fades. Her fiancé turns out to be a much older man. "I won't let you marry this old fool. I regret coming to see you." His daughter slams the door and leaves, their reunion ending in anger. The next day, when Gardner comes to work, the painter can't help but complain. Gardner says, "Isn't that just like you and your student?" Seeing the painter speechless, he adds, "You need to decide what matters more, your pride or your daughter." Days later, they attend a neighbor's funeral. When the priest mispronounces the neighbor's comically long name, they nearly burst out laughing and have to flee the scene. In that moment, the weight of death lightens. The painter realizes people worry about aging and dying, but under Gardner's influence, he learns to focus on the present. Their lives settle into a rhythm. One paints, the other tends the land, both growing fond of each other's company. "Health doesn't mean immortality," Gardner says. The painter, stuck in a creative block, strains for originality, and even wonders if he should have taken over his father's pharmacy. Gardner listens quietly, then remarks, "If I had a choice, I'd never be a railroad worker, tunneling through rain or shine, endless shifts. Being a gardener is enough for me." Seeing the painter still down, Gardner points to the yard. "You need fresh air. Stop drowning in these small worries. Look, the once weedy garden now thrives with green beans climbing bamboo poles, carrot sprouts, potatoes growing underground, and plump zucchini like baby fingers. These real things are full of life," Gardner says. "You should store them up." "Yeah," the painter mutters half-heartedly. Gardner sees he has no idea how to handle the produce. "Don't worry, the neighbor's housekeeper knows what to do. You can give most of it to her. I'll give her all of it. She won't take it. Gardner shakes his head. She has her pride. After a pause, he adds, you Parisians act like nothing has value. The words reveal the divide. The painter measures everything in money, while Gardner understands country life runs on dignity and mutual respect. A sudden rain cuts their garden talk short. The next day, the painter falls ill from the rain, but Gardner remains energetic. He rides a shiny red motorcycle in circles along the garden path, calling excitedly to the painter on the lounge chair. See my beauty? I don't know much about motorcycles, but it looks nice, the painter replies. With his wife away visiting their daughter, Gardner plans to take the painter fishing tomorrow. But the painter is about to return to Paris for a while tomorrow. Still, he promises to go with him once he's back. Then something unexpected happens. Gardner suddenly groans in pain, his face turns pale, and he collapses. The railway medical team had diagnosed it as a hernia and only gave him a belt, but now his stomach is hard as a rock, clearly not a hernia. I'll take you to Paris right now, Dauber decides immediately. Gardner weakly replies, I should say no, but I don't have the strength anymore. By the time they reach Dauber's apartment in Paris, it's late at night. Gardner looks around at the paintings filling the room and suddenly says before bed, if it's not too much trouble, I'd like you to paint what's in my heart. Like what? Dauber asks. You understand my thoughts, you know what I care about. Gardner's voice grows faint. It doesn't have to be perfect, just some colors, something to remember. Dauber solemnly promises. All right, I'll paint it, I swear. The next morning, Dauber takes Gardner around Paris. The city, where he'd only stopped briefly during a layover 20 years ago, is now even busier and more crowded. Walking along the Seine, Dauber's mind drifts back to the feelings he had when visiting his wife's hometown, the hope and excitement, as if it were just yesterday. They visit the Louvre, standing before massive world-famous paintings. Though not highly educated, Gardner suddenly stops in front of one. This is liberty leading the people. He recognizes it with delight. His family had a calendar with this painting, and they all loved it. The surgery is quickly scheduled. While waiting, Dauber goes to a store and buys a brand new red helmet, thinking it would match Gardner's new motorcycle. But when he eagerly returns to the hospital, the doctor solemnly tells him, I opened his stomach and closed it again. It's too late. The sudden news leaves Dauber stunned, but Gardner remains surprisingly calm. Pointing at his body covered in tubes, he says, look at all these wires. I'm like a TV with antennas everywhere. He faces life and death with a Gardner's simple wisdom, believing life should grow and fade like plants. His only worry is his wife of many years. When my wife finds out, she'll lose it. As they part, Gardner says weakly but lightly, all right, go on. I've seen enough of you. After a pause, he adds sincerely, and thank you, Dauber. With reddened eyes, Dauber whispers, goodbye, Gardner. Influenced by Gardner's honest and sincere way of living, Dauber begins to change. He goes to his wife's workplace to wait for her, hoping to reconnect. But this time, instead of demanding her attention as usual, he accepts when she says she already has plans with a mutual friend, even asking about how the friend is doing. When his wife mentions their daughter, Dauber reflects honestly. I was too stubborn last time. I should respect her choices. After all this, it's her own life, the wife says, but she tells him, she actually listened to you and has already broken up with that person. The wife is surprised to find that her husband, who used to bury himself in painting and ignore those around him, has now learned to care for others. This change makes her cancel her plans with friends and choose to stay with the painter instead. On the day Gardner is discharged from the hospital, he's overjoyed to hear the couple has reconciled. Talking about his own wife's beautiful eyes, he casually asks the painter, what color are your wife's eyes? The simple question stuns the painter. He can't answer. All these years, while lost in his art, he's overlooked so many beautiful details of life. Now, he needs to rediscover them slowly. A week later, Gardner and the painter finally go fishing as planned. The lake is perfectly still, but Gardner senses the big fish lurking nearby. It moves as silently as death, ready to drag you into the depths before you even notice. The float jerks. A prized catch takes the bait. Do you see its eyes? Gardner says. It looks at us like it's staring at death. This is the third time he's caught this fish, and he knows it'll be the last. Let it go, he says, tossing the fish back into the water. On their way back, Gardner already has a replacement in mind for his gardening job. He also reminds the painter to paint a portrait of his wife. I can tell you the color of her eyes, Gardner says. But just as the painter finishes the portrait, all except the eyes, he gets the call that Gardner has passed away. In the end, the painter doesn't hire a new gardener. Instead, he tends to the garden Gardner once cared for so lovingly. His exhibition in Paris is also transformed, no longer filled with abstract works showcasing technique, but a series of heartfelt pieces, all inspired by what Gardner held dear in life. These works, rooted in real life and pure emotion, move countless viewers. The painter finally understands, true art isn't about showing off skill, but capturing life's simplest, most touching moments. In this once neglected, now revived garden, the painter grasps life's deepest truth. Gardner, with his humble life, taught him, real art isn't in the brushstrokes on the canvas, but in the soil of everyday life, not in abstract imagination, but in honest conversations with the earth, with loved ones, with fate itself. When he lets go of his obsession with technique and starts painting ordinary yet precious moments, his work gains the power to move hearts. The painter realizes, we're all like that fish, caught and released again and again, drifting in the river of fate. What matters isn't resisting life's unpredictability, but learning to see and cherish, to notice the color of a wife's eyes, to treasure every ordinary moment together, to find beauty in the daily toil of living. Every sprout breaking through the soil is a tribute to life, every painting filled with true feeling. Every creation is the most beautiful tribute to the departed. In this garden nurtured by love and memories, the Dauber finds the ultimate purpose of art, to embrace the truest life with the most sincere heart. This black man dares to dream of competing in the Olympics and even boasts about changing the world. The crowd erupts in a storm of curses and yells at the black man to get out, but he just slowly crouches down. As the referee fires the starting gun, the runners burst forward like wild horses. While all the athletes push toward the finish line, a dark figure flashes ahead like lightning, crossing first, 0.2 seconds faster than the runner-up. Owens wins the race with an absolute lead. Just as the coach excitedly rushes to celebrate with him, the referee nearby suddenly declares the result invalid. Hearing this, the coach storms over to argue, but Owens pulls him back. In the 1930s, black people in America often faced discrimination and unfair treatment. Even though Owens knows the referee is biased, there's nothing he can do. Yet, in this deeply unfair competitive environment, he goes on to win 4 gold medals at the Olympics 2 years later. Owens is born in a slum in Ohio. Owens loves running since he was a child. With his excellent physique and talent, he gets accepted into Ohio State University. He is overjoyed. He thinks he can finally show his running skills here, but reality hits him hard again. In this special era, no matter how talented a black person is, discrimination and prejudice are everywhere. Among American athletes, there's also an unwritten rule. After every training session, only white athletes can use the locker room first, and black athletes can only enter after they finish. One day, Owens is about to take a shower, but a late arriving football player stops them. The football player insists, "You have to wait until we finish showering. Black people need to stay in line." Facing such blatant discrimination and provocation, Owens is used to it, but his friend's furious. Owens quickly tells him, "Don't start trouble, or you'll get expelled." Here, no matter who starts it, only the black students get punished. Helpless, they swallow their anger. But deep down, Owens makes a silent vow. He'll prove himself on the track, teach these arrogant white guys a lesson. But because of his skin color, no track team in the school wants to hire him. This leaves Owens, who was once full of confidence, feeling lost for a while. Then, not long after, this talented runner finally meets someone who recognizes his potential. One day, Owens is practicing on the track when his speed catches the attention of a coach named Snyder. Snyder quickly pulls out his stopwatch to check, only to be stunned by Owens' time, 10.4 seconds. At the time, that was among the fastest in the world. Only top athletes can run this fast. But the football coach standing nearby isn't impressed at all. He says the world record is 9.4 seconds, and Owens is a full second slower. Nothing to celebrate. Then Snyder points out that the 9.4 second record is for 100 yards. But this black kid just ran 100 meters. Snyder asks the football coach, "Don't you know a meter is longer than a yard?" Excited, Snyder takes Owens to his office. Owens expects praise, but instead of recognizing his talent, Snyder criticizes him harshly. He points out that Owens starts too slow, his pacing is all wrong, and even his running form looks awkward. Hearing the coach tear apart his natural talent, Owens feels annoyed but keeps quiet. He knows this isn't just any coach. Snyder was a star sprinter on the US team and competed in the 1924 Paris Olympics. Even Owens' favorite runner, Charlie Parker, was his teammate. Then Snyder says if Owens combines his talent with Snyder's training methods and puts in hard work, then, at the Berlin Olympics 28 months later, Snyder promises Owens that he will make him famous. But Owens hesitates when he hears this, because Germany at that time is under Nazi rule, and the Nazis have strong prejudice against Jews and black people. Owens doesn't want to compete in such an environment, but Snyder tells him, in America, black people face discrimination too. Do these problems bother you? With his coach's constant encouragement, Owens finally accepts Snyder's advice. At the same time, he secretly makes up his mind to prove himself through his hard work and talent. Under Snyder's guidance, he begins 28 months of professional training. Snyder points out Owens' biggest issue, his start. If he can improve his starting speed and combine it with his strong finish, no one will be able to beat him, Snyder says. The first step is to lower his center of gravity. Your body should glide like a plane, Snyder says. The lower your stance, the less resistance you face at the start. With Snyder's careful coaching and Owens' daily hard work, his starting speed improves quickly. But his actions once again draw mocking comments from the nearby football players. Hey Owens, why don't you hang from those bamboo poles? One of them taunts. Others join in, shouting, let's see you swing from them, just like back in the jungle, right? Though Owens ignores the white men's sneers, their words still distract him from his training. Seeing this, Coach Snyder steps in, teaching him how to stay focused despite the noise. Just then, the football team finishes practice. They demand Owens and the others get out of the locker room immediately. But Snyder completely ignores them and keeps explaining to Owens how to stay calm. His behavior angers the entire football team, and loud arguments erupt in the locker room. Snyder shouts at Owens, you need to block out the hateful words. They're just noise, all of it. Owens, some people will like you, others won't. But none of that matters. Because no matter what, when you step out into the world, you've got to rely on yourself. Do you understand, Owens? Owens replies, yes, coach, I understand. Snyder's words leave a deep impression on Owens. For the first time, a faint smile appears on his face. From this day on, he learns how to block out the hurtful words. Just when Snyder thinks he has finally put Owens on the right track, Owens suddenly skips the next day's practice without explanation. Frustrated, the coach waits outside the classroom door and finally finds Owens. Snyder says angrily, why did you miss practice? Do you think you're some kind of genius who doesn't need to learn or train anymore? Owens replies, no, coach. I know I'm still not fast enough, but I have to find a way to feed my daughter and my family. It turns out Owens not only has to study and train every day, but also takes on the responsibility of supporting his whole family. He finds a job at a gas station near the school and sends money home every week. After learning about Owens' family situation, Snyder calls him into his office again. Snyder says he has arranged a job for Owens as a college assistant so he can focus on training. The job pays $60 a month and covers personal daily expenses. Owens asks, what do I need to do as a college assistant? Snyder says, nothing. Your most important task now is to focus on training. Owens feels deeply grateful. With the coach's help, Owens no longer has to worry about his family's finances. He can now focus entirely on his daily training. Under Snyder's patient guidance, his performance improves significantly. 3 days later, the annual National Track and Field Championships begin. The best athletes from across the country will compete. This is Owens' first official competition, so he takes it very seriously. But the night before the race, Owens accidentally twists his ankle. On race day, the coach sees Owens limping and finally learns the truth. Snyder, concerned about Owens' career, suggests he skip the race. But Owens insists on competing. He wants to test his training results. After his persistent pleading, Snyder reluctantly agrees. The moment Owens steps onto the track, his eyes fill with determination. As the starting gun fires, he bursts forward like a wild horse breaking free, leaving all his competitors behind in an instant. In the end, he breaks the record with a time of 9.3 seconds. Not only that, in the following races, he also shatters world records in the 100-yard, 200-yard, 225-yard hurdles, and the long jump. Owens silences his critics with his near-miraculous performance. At this moment, everyone is shouting his name. Over the next few months, he keeps pushing himself, breaking his own limits again and again. Owens stands on the highest podium of national sprinting and becomes a track and field star known to every American household. The moment he steps off the bus, he's surrounded by an endless crowd of reporters and fans. From a black man who faced discrimination everywhere, he suddenly turns into a celebrity everyone admires. Under this sharp contrast, Owen's mindset gradually changes. One day, Coach Snyder notices a black athlete named Peacock, who recently won both the 100-meter sprint and long jump events in Philadelphia. Snyder says to Owens, "Keep an eye on this guy. This person could become your toughest rival." But Owens doesn't take his coach's words seriously at all. Winning again and again makes him more and more arrogant. Not only that, he starts going to bars and other entertainment spots often. He slowly gets addicted to this flashy lifestyle. Even though he's already married, he gets involved with a model. He thinks his wife, living in the countryside, won't find out, but his fame makes people recognize him everywhere. Soon, his wife discovers Owens' betrayal from the newspaper. Heartbroken, she sends Owens a letter, deciding to break up with him. After reading his wife's letter, Owens suddenly wakes up to reality. Full of guilt, he calls her, but she hangs up without listening to any explanation. In an upcoming race, a distracted Owens can't focus, and unsurprisingly loses. The one who beats him is Peacock, the very racer Coach Snyder had mentioned before. After the race, Snyder finds Owens drinking alone and asks, "Are you facing some trouble? At your speed, you shouldn't have lost this race." But Owens doesn't want to talk about the game at all right now. He just needs some time alone to cool down. However, Snyder quickly figures it out based on Owens' recent behavior. His wife probably found out about his affair with the model. Snyder says, "I won't judge what you've done. As long as you can live with your choices, that's what matters. But you have to make a decision now, before it's too late to fix things." After hearing the coach's advice, Owens finally comes to his senses. He goes back to his hometown and finds his wife at her workplace. He sincerely apologizes to her, and in the end, she is moved by his sincerity and chooses to forgive him. With his family worries resolved, Owens throws himself back into training because the Berlin Olympics are just 3 months away. Winning gold at this top-level event is the highest honor for any athlete. In the end, he earns his spot to compete in Berlin. But just as he's about to share the good news with his family, an unexpected visitor suddenly comes to see him. It's a council member from the local Black Association. He's here to ask Owens to give up competing in the Berlin Olympics. Under Nazi rule, Germany is starting to violently oppress Jews and black people. The council member says, "Owens, you're outstanding. You have a real chance to make history. But only by staying here can you stand with our oppressed black brothers in Germany. But this is the Olympics. Owens has spent his whole life preparing for this moment. Let's show the world our unity," the council member says. On one side is his own dream, and on the other is the expectations of his fellow black people. Owens now stands at a crossroads in life, unsure of what to choose. His father says he should follow his heart and not push himself too hard. After struggling for a long time, Owens finally decides to give up his spot in the Olympics, even though he really wants to compete. The next day, he tells Coach Snyder the news. When Snyder hears this, he flies into a rage. Snyder asks him, "You have the talent to make history, and you're just going to give up this chance? Let it slip away like that." Owens says, "A lot of people look up to me." Snyder asks, "What do you mean, a lot of people? Who? Black people? I don't care about that at all." Owens coldly replies, "Because you're white." With that, Owens turns and walks away. Snyder falls into deep thought. That night, he goes alone to the training field and drinks in frustration. Memories of his Olympic training days come flooding back. He wishes he could go back to those times. Under the influence of alcohol, he slowly walks onto the field. Owens bends his knees and takes another running start, then leaps into the air. But he's no longer young, and the jump makes his old injury flare up again. The next day, Snyder walks over to Owens on crutches. After thinking it over all night, he finally understands Owens' situation. This time, Snyder doesn't get as worked up as before. Instead, he patiently explains to Owens that running away and staying silent won't change anything. The only way to silence the doubts and prejudice is to shine on the Olympic stage. It's also a chance to show the world the unbreakable spirit of black athletes. Snyder pushes Owens so hard to compete in the Olympics for 2 reasons. First, he wants to make up for his own past regrets. And second, he doesn't want Owens to carry that same regret for life. In the end, he tells Owens, "Whatever you decide, at least try out for the qualifiers now. Secure your spot first, then we'll talk about the future." At the qualifiers, Owens performs flawlessly, easily taking first place. Owens qualifies for the Olympics, but at the post-race press conference, when a reporter asks if he'll compete in the Berlin Olympics, Owens feels lost again and doesn't know how to answer. That same night, Peacock, the black athlete who once beat him on the track, suddenly shows up. During a sprint race, Peacock tore his Achilles tendon by accident. Though doctors say he'll recover in a few months, it's already too late for him. I hope you can compete in the Berlin Olympics, Peacock says. I read the newspapers. Those who don't want you to participate will try to distract you, that's certain. But it also means some people support you. Many have high hopes for you, Owens asks. Hopes for what? Peacock replies. To compete in Berlin. Show the world the unbreakable spirit of black people. Let everyone see it. That night, Owens can't sleep. Tomorrow is the day the team leaves for the games, but he still hasn't made up his mind. After hesitating for a long time, he wakes his sleeping wife to ask for her opinion. Don't overthink it, Owens, his wife says. That will only make things worse. You were born to run. Don't care about what others think. Listen to your heart and follow what it tells you. Understand? The next morning, his wife packs his bags early. With his family's support, he finally finds the courage and confidence to chase his dreams again. But when Owens joins the team, he realizes Coach Snyder didn't get approval from the US delegation. This means Snyder can't travel to Berlin as a coach. Without Snyder by his side, he feels uneasy on the cruise ship, fighting alone. He doesn't know how to face such an important match. Just then, a familiar voice suddenly calls out from behind. You getting seasick? Snyder asks. Owens is surprised. How did Snyder follow him here? Someone's gotta keep an eye on you, Snyder says. Turns out, even though Snyder didn't get official approval, he decided to come for Owens in the end. Snyder pays his own way to go to Berlin with Owens. With his coach by his side, Owens finally regains his confidence. After days of travel, they arrive at the Berlin Olympic Stadium. It's Owens' first time at the Olympics, and he's stunned by the grand scene. The roar of 120,000 spectators instantly fires him up. He puts on the new shoes his coach prepared and takes off his jacket, which represents national honor. Then he slowly walks to the starting line of the 100-meter dash. Even though the crowd boos when they see a black athlete competing, Owens' eyes stay focused. Now he can completely block out the noise. With a gunshot, all the athletes dash forward. Among them, Owens is like a black lightning bolt, quickly leaving the others far behind. In the end, he wins his first gold medal with a time of 10.3 seconds. When he stands on the podium, Owens finally understands what his coach said. He can now use this achievement to break all the prejudice and doubts against black people. The next day, in the long jump competition, Owens faces an unprecedented strong opponent, Karl, Germany's top long jumper. At the qualifying round, he only uses one jump and directly advances to the final. When it's Owens' turn, he walks right into the sandpit to check the field because he doesn't know the Olympic rules. The referee calls a foul, and Owens loses his first jump. Though upset about the call, Owens goes back to the starting line for his second attempt. But he steps over the line, and the jump doesn't count. Two mistakes in a row shake his focus. Just then, the German athlete Karl places a towel in front of the white line and signals Owens to take off from this spot. Owens immediately understands. He starts running again and successfully completes his final jump, securing his place in the finals. He quickly catches up to Karl to thank him. In the finals between Owens and Karl, both athletes give their best. Karl starts strong with a first jump of 7.54 meters, but Owens responds with a slightly better 7.74 meters, taking a narrow lead. Then Karl jumps 7.87 meters on his second attempt, breaking the European record. But Owens quickly responds with a perfect 7.94 meter jump, taking back the lead. Now the pressure is back on Karl. He focuses hard, ready to end the competition with his final jump. But he's too nervous. His steps get messy, and he fouls by stepping over the line, losing his last chance. This means Owens has already secured the gold medal. He walks up to Karl to express his sympathy, but Karl urges him to take his final jump and finish his Olympic journey strong. Under everyone's gaze, Owens steps onto the track again and gives his all for one last jump. With a leap of 8.06 meters, he sets a new world record. The crowd erupts in thunderous cheers. Karl pulls Owens along for a victory lap, letting him soak in the applause from hundreds of thousands. This honor isn't about race or skin color. It belongs to everyone who loves sports. Now, Owens has only one thing left to do. It's the final 200-meter race. If he can win one more gold medal, he will become the athlete with the most golds in a single Olympics in 36 years. At this moment, Owens' entire family gathers around the radio, hoping to witness this miracle. All the cameras at the stadium are focused on him. In the end, Owens doesn't disappoint. He wins the gold with a time of 20.7 seconds. The entire Olympic Stadium cheers his name. Through hard work and talent, Owens brings supreme honor to himself and his country. This also helps break some people's prejudice and discrimination against black people. From being criticized by everyone to being admired by all, from losing all hope to feeling confident and proud, he spends half his life fulfilling his promise. Owens' success comes from his hard work and constant learning, but also from Coach Snyder's careful guidance. In an era when black people face discrimination, Snyder chooses to give Owens a chance. When Owens struggles in life, Snyder always finds ways to help him through tough times. When Owens hits rock bottom and feels lost, Snyder, like a wise elder, always lights the way forward for him. I hope you too can block out discrimination and prejudice on your life's path, always holding on to your dreams. May you also meet your own Coach Snyder, someone who gives you everything when you're down, offers help when you're in trouble, and guides you out of darkness when you feel lost. This story is based on the real-life struggles and triumphs of Jesse Owens, the legendary African-American athlete who defied racism and hatred with his extraordinary talent. In an era when black athletes faced brutal discrimination, Owens shattered records at the 1936 Berlin Olympics, proving that greatness knows no color. Sometimes, the most powerful revolutions begin not with words, but with a man simply running faster than hate. She wants to marry a dying man, with the condition that he gives her his kidney after death, because she has kidney failure. Of course, she's not freeloading. She promises to arrange his funeral as his wife, take care of his parents, and fulfill her duties after he passes. I know this is selfish, she says, but to survive, please forgive my desperation and shame. After recording the video, the girl, Ling Min, posted in a cancer support group, but then she rethinks it and quickly deletes it. Even though she acts fast, she still gets a friend request. The person's username is No Brains. After accepting, Ling Min wants to call and explain, to say it was a mistake, but the other person doesn't pick up. Instead, he sends a message saying, "Can't talk on WeChat," and share a meeting address. They set the time for tomorrow at 12:46 p.m. and even come up with a secret code. He says that tomorrow, he'll say "cool dude," and Ling Min should reply with "let's go." That way, he'll know it's her. Ling Min finds it ridiculous, but to clear things up, she still shows up at the spot the next day. Right at 12:46 p.m., she spots the cool dude. He's munching on a chicken leg while going table to table, checking the code. He looks totally clueless. Ling Min quickly calls him over. He starts the code. "Cool dude," Ling Min says. "Yeah, it's me," he says. "Wrong." Ling Min has no choice but to say, "Let's go." Hearing the correct response, he hurries to sit down, and the two start introducing themselves. "Hi, Lin Min. My name is Lia Tu." Ling Min says her name is Ling Min, not Lin Min, but Lia Tu still doesn't get it. Frustrated, Ling Min says, "Whatever, call me what you want." After introductions, Lia Tu pulls out two 50% off coupons from his bag and says he wants to treat Ling Min to a meal. But Ling Min says no, she can't eat any of the food here because of her kidney disease. Plus, she didn't come here to eat. Ling Min starts explaining, saying the video was just a misunderstanding. She doesn't feel that way anymore and tells him to forget about it, just pretend he never saw it. But as soon as she finishes speaking, Lia Tu suddenly goes limp and collapses onto the table. Ling Min is stunned. "What the heck? Is he dead?" Lin Min quickly pokes him and reaches out to check his breathing, but just as her hand gets close, he suddenly wakes up. Lia Tu says, "Sorry, when the pressure in my head increases, I just pass out like that. You know how it feels when you're under general anesthesia? It's exactly like that." Just when it seems like things are settled, Lia Tu spots two people in the distance staring at them. Out of nowhere, he gets the wild idea that Ling Min must be an organ trafficker, and those two are her accomplices. He even snatches a badge decoration off her, yelling, "This is a wiretap!" As if that's not enough, a few men in black walk in at that exact moment. Convinced they're here to kidnap him, Lia Tu pulls out his meal card, claiming it's a police badge, and shouts, "I'm an officer." He pretends to call for backup again. As the figures get closer, he suddenly stands up and throws some ancient fist technique moves, only to realize the men in black are just here to eat. The whole thing was just Lia Tu's delusion. Ling Min watches this and mutters, "What a freak." Looking at the scene, she thinks his online nickname, No Brain, fits him perfectly. Too embarrassed to stay, she calls him a drama queen and ends this ridiculous meetup. As soon as she steps out of the restaurant, Lia Tu texts her, "You passed my first test." Ling Min replies, "Dumbass," then blocks him without a second thought. A few days pass, and she thinks the whole matchmaking mess is behind her, that she'll never have to see that clueless Lia Tu again. But then, on this very day, she spots him standing right outside her building. He's actually stalking her? Seriously, what's his deal? Furious, Ling Min storms outside and marches up to him. She snatches the notebook from his hands, throws it on the ground, and stomps on it a few times. Then she yells, "Are you crazy? Didn't I make myself clear enough? When will you stop?" Liu Tu says, "I'm just going through the second phase of the test." He replies. Ling Min asks, "Then what happens if I pass all your tests?" Liu Tu says, "Then we'll do what you said, we'll get married, I'll give you my kidney, and you'll help take care of my mom." Ling Min says firmly, "I'm telling you for the last time, I won't marry you, I don't want your kidney, and I won't take care of your mom either." Ling Min looks frustrated and mutters to herself, blaming her bad luck. She says it's karma for her reckless choices, like running into someone like Liu Tuesday. But Liu Tu just shrugs and says, "Don't beat yourself up over it, it's not that deep." Ling Min rolls her eyes and calls him an idiot. As she walks away, Liu Tu picks up his notebook and solemnly writes a few big words in it. He writes, "She's got a bad temper." Starting this day, Liu Tu begins shamelessly following Ling Min, popping up in all sorts of unexpected places, like the bridal shop where Ling Min is helping her best friend try on wedding dresses, the supermarket, even a hospital ward. Wherever Ling Min goes, Liu Tu shows up. Ling Min is totally fed up. One day, while Liu Tu is tailing her, Ling Min deliberately hides. After he passes by, she mutters in annoyance, "Ugh, this guy is such a stalker. The way you get out of the bike is unique. I thought only us girls use that leg swinging move to step out," Liu Tu says. "Can't help it," Liu Tu replies. "It's a side effect of brain disease. Any other way and I'll get dizzy." After a few days of observation, Liu Tu finally finishes his research and hands Ling Min a summary sheet. It clearly lists her anger meter, passive skills, and other stats. Ling Min just thinks he's nuts. Early the next morning, Ling Min is woken up by a call from her real estate agent. She's renting the place, but it's up for sale. The agent tells her someone's coming to view the apartment in the afternoon and asks her to hide her medicine because potential buyers might get weirded out seeing so many pills. That's when Ling Min snaps. Armed with spray paint, Ling Min storms into the real estate agency and tags the glass door with "unscrupulous." An agent rushes out to stop her, but she snaps. "I put up with the landlord breaking the contract to sell the place. I tolerated your endless parade of buyers touring my home, but now you're telling me to hide my medicine? Enough is enough. Are sick people some kind of bad luck? Are we that disgusting to look at?" Ling Min says. "Remember, I signed a lease to live here. This is my home. It's not like I chose to get sick." She adds, "All 3 hospitals where I'm on the kidney transplant waitlist are within 3 miles. If a match comes up, I can get there fast. And if I crash with life or death complications, pulmonary edema, heart failure, a brain hemorrhage, the ambulance might actually reach me before I die." For the landlord and the agents, that apartment is just a business deal. But for Ling Min, this is her lifeline. She just wants to survive. Hearing this, Liu Tu beside her feels mixed emotions, and even the agent feels uneasy. So they promise to find her a new place in the same neighborhood, free of charge. They won't let her move until they do. The conflict finally cools down. Later, Liu Tu approaches Ling Min again and shows her his medical records. "I have a brain tumor," he says. 4 years ago, he had surgery to remove part of his brain to stay alive. But a month ago, it came back. He knows his time is running out. He's seen Ling Min's records. If she agrees to take care of his mother after he's gone, he's willing to give her his kidney. Liu Tu explains everything in detail and with sincerity, but Ling Min only replies with, "No wonder you're so clueless." Even though Ling Min is firm, Liu Tu keeps pushing. Ling Min explains that the video was really posted by accident. She won't marry him, and apologizes for wasting his time. Liu Tu asks, "So that's it? Just an apology?" Ling Min says, "What else do you want?" Liu Tu asks, "How about meeting my mom?" Ling Min is exasperated by Liu Tu's persistent attitude. To get rid of him once and for all, she drags him to a nearby police station and tells Officer Lee that he's been stalking her. She hands over the notebook where Liu Tu recorded her activities. But Ling Min forgets that Liu Tu is a total airhead. He actually explains that he followed her because she posted in a group chat looking for a kidney donor, and he suspected she might be an organ trafficker. Officer Lee says, "You both seem pretty shady to me." Just like that, the two are taken to the police station. After some back and forth, the cops piece together the whole story. The officer tells them, "This is just ridiculous. It's against transplant regulations. Even between spouses, you have to be married for at least 3 years before donating." He also warns Liu Tu to stop stalking Ling Min, or next time it'll count as harassment. After leaving the police station, Ling Min realizes she went too far and apologizes to him, saying this really won't work. But Lia Tu just runs off, as if he's deeply hurt. At the same time, Officer Lee comes out to return the medical records Lia Tu left behind, but he's already gone. Ling Min takes them instead. On her way home, she looks at the photos of Lia Tu during surgery in the records and feels a mix of emotions. He's had a hard life, she thinks. He kept going for his mother's sake. After that, Lia Tu seems to vanish, no sign of him. The real estate agent keeps their promise and finds Ling Min a place nearby. While showing the apartment, the agent apologizes to her. He explains that his mother is sick and he urgently needs the commission, which is why he's rushing Ling Min to move out. Naive and trusting, Ling Min signs the contract without hesitation. Soon, her best friend's wedding arrives. Among the bridesmaids, Ling Min's arm sleeves stand out awkwardly. Still, she works hard to help with the event. Then, she spots a familiar figure, Lia Tuesday. What's he doing here? She wonders. She runs over to ask, and Lia Tu says he's working as a videographer for the wedding company. Legit job, even showing her his uniform. Ling Min ignores him after that, and joins her friends for dinner. During the meal, they play a game where they pass a tissue with their mouths. The groomsman sitting next to Ling Min is a total creep. He just swallows the tissue instead. The guy tries to take advantage of Ling Min, waiting for her to kiss him while the crowd eggs them on. Ling Min freezes, unsure what to do. Suddenly, Lia Tu charges in, tackles the guy to the ground, and starts throwing punches with his ancient martial arts moves. Later, Lia Tu is dragged to the security office. He claims he was being a hero, saying Ling Min signaled for help, but Ling Min denies it. Lia Tu says, "Then why were you making eyes at me?" Ling Min says, "Who was making eyes at you?" Lia Tu says, "Just admit it, you looked at me, right?" Ling Min says, "Okay, maybe I glanced your way." Lia Tu says, "And when you looked, did you make this face?" As he says this, Lia Tu spots the security camera footage, so he drags Ling Min to check it out. But when he grabs her arm, she collapses in pain. They rush to the hospital. The doctor says, "A fistula is highly sensitive to pressure. The external force likely caused an acute blood clot, blocking it." Because of Lia Tu's actions, the fistula in Ling Min's arm, used for dialysis, gets completely blocked, and they can't clear it no matter what. Ling Min is in agony, and Lia Tu is filled with guilt. In the end, Ling Min has to go through the ordeal again, getting a new fistula created overnight. A dialysis fistula, in simple terms, connects an artery in a vein to make the vein function like an artery, increasing blood flow for easier needle access during dialysis. It's basically a lifeline for dialysis patients. After the surgery, Lia Tu stands by Ling Min's bedside, unsure what to do. Just then, the real estate agent calls and says the moving company has arrived. It's time for her to move. But Ling Min just had surgery and can't move yet, so Lia Tu volunteers to help as a way to make up for his mistakes. In just one day, Lia Tu not only moves all her things but also sets up her new room. He even prepares a meal tailored for someone with kidney disease, being extra thoughtful. During dinner, Lia Tu says, "This place has good vibes, unlike the last one." Ling Min asks, "Why is that?" Lia Tu replies, "The old place had a bird's nest right across from it. Bad luck, you know?" Ling Min asks why bad luck. Lia Tu says, "Since the 1980s, all the birds in the world have been replaced by AI birds. Bad guys use them to spy on humans. Their eyes are cameras. Every word we say and everything we do gets recorded. Imagine being watched like this every day. It drains your soul." Ling Min hears this bizarre claim and is completely speechless. Before she can react, Lia Tu adds that he recently joined an alien contact group. He regularly sends Morse code messages to outer space. If aliens pick up the signal, they'll take the sender back to their home planet. He also says all humans are descendants of aliens, and life on their home planet is extremely harsh, so their brains are incredibly advanced. But on Earth, they can only develop up to 10% because surviving here is too easy. Ling Min asks, "Surviving on Earth is easy?" Lia Tu says, "Yeah, look at me. I had a chunk of my skull cut off, and I'm still doing just fine, aren't I?" Hearing this, Ling Min almost laughs herself to the ground. Lia Tu starts laughing too, but as they keep laughing, his laughter turns to tears. "I'm sorry, Ling Min," he says. "I've caused you so much pain. Does your arm still hurt?" The abrupt shift in his emotions leaves Ling Min frozen in place. At the same time, the emotional whiplash is too much for Lia Tu, and just like before, he instantly passes out. But he wakes up again moments later. Then, Lia Tu suddenly stands up with a weird look, saying he needs to clean up the room because he's staying to take care of Ling Min. At first, Ling Min refuses, saying it's inappropriate for them to be alone together. But Liu Tu threatens to call her dad. He has his number from the delivery package. Not wanting to worry her parents, Ling Min reluctantly agrees and goes to fetch him a pillow. When she returns with the pillow, she sees him using her cup and yells, "Don't drink that." Liu Tu asks, "What's wrong?" Ling Min says, "That's the cup I used to measure my pee." Liu Tu replies, "No way, it doesn't even smell." Ling Min snaps, "Don't you know, people with kidney disease don't have smelly pee." Ling Min has a temporary dialysis tube inserted in her neck, while Liu Tu stays by her side the whole time. The dialysis process is always boring and takes forever. Just like before, Ling Min picks up her phone and plays some music, but after a short while, Liu Tu takes her phone and drops it into a cup. Then he says to her, "My mom says the echo makes it sound even better than a speaker." In the days that follow, Liu Tu keeps Ling Min company, helping her check her blood pressure, tracking her daily water intake, and packing up their things for the move. He cleans the house spotless, and even carries her on his back when she's tired. During her dialysis sessions, when she dozes off, he gently supports her head. Once, he notices her drooling in her sleep and jokes, "You've got alien skills," Liu Tu says. "Our alien group leader says drooling is a skill we developed on our home planet. It helps flush out toxins." That same day, Liu Tu gives Ling Min an apology letter. If she presses her handprint on it, she can ask him to do anything for her, as long as it's not illegal. It's his way of making up for all the hardship he put her through. After the surgery, Ling Min can't shower for a few days, so she's itchy all over and has to ask Liu Tu to scratch for her. But what she doesn't expect is that the very next day, Liu Tu brings his mom over. His mom asks, "Sweetie, is it this arm? Oh dear, you've been through so much." Then she turns to Liu Tu and yells, "Get over here, you little troublemaker. I told you to keep your hands to yourself." Liu Tu quickly says, Okay, Mom, stop hitting me. We rehearsed this. No hitting the face." Liu Tu adds, "Oops, I got too into character." Well, like mother, like son, they're both equally adorable. Liu Tu's mom comes over to help Ling Min take a bath, as Liu Tu asked. Hearing this, Ling Min says no thanks. She feels a bit awkward, but Liu Tu's mom acts like she didn't hear, takes off her coat, and heads to the bathroom. Ling Min has no choice but to accept. Before going in, Liu Tu reminds Ling Min, "Don't tell my mom about my relapse," and Ling Min agrees. After the bath, Liu Tu's mom blows dry Ling Min's hair while apologizing. She says, "Liu Tu's always been a scaredy cat. The night he hurt you, he cried at home all night." She also adds, "He's not good enough for you," and mentions how Liu Tu tends to overthink things. She tells Ling Min to think carefully about their relationship. When Liu Tu's mom mistakes them for a couple, Ling Min replies, "We're just hospital buddies." Maybe even Ling Min doesn't realize that after all these days together, the goofy Liu Tu has found his way into her heart. Soon, the day to contact the aliens arrives. Liu Tu specially assembles a set of receiving equipment. He tells Ling Min, "Wait downstairs with the walkie-talkie for the signal," then carries the receiver up to the rooftop himself. Ling Min is speechless but still sits there seriously, waiting as he said. During this time, Ling Min asks Liu Tu, "Is it true that some people on Earth have been taken away by aliens?" Liu Tu says, "Yes, but only their consciousness is taken. Their bodies stay on Earth and fall into a coma. Once the aliens fix their consciousness, they send it back, and the person wakes up." Liu Tu says this theory was told to him by the admin of the alien group chat. Shortly after the admin moved to a new house, his wife and child got blood cancer. Not long after, his wife passed away, and his son fell into a coma. Then one day, a beam of light shone into the admin's home, and a voice told him that his son's consciousness had been taken away for repairs. Strangely enough, a few days later, his son actually woke up, though the odds of this happening are extremely low, like 1 in 300 million. After sharing this, Liu Tu starts talking about him and Ling Min. He says the chance of them meeting was also 1 in 300 million, and that they're totally meant to be a match made in the stars. He jokes that they're quite the pair, one with a busted brain, the other with 2 busted kidneys. No one is a better match than these 2 unhappy souls. He's already checked. If he dies, his wife Ling Min gets first priority for his organs. After hearing this, Ling Min doesn't agree. She just says they're like 2 empty soda bottles, both hoping for a win another bottle prize. Ling Min says, "I don't think there's much hope for me. Maybe my whole life is just destined to be a thanks for playing." Liu Tu quickly says, "Don't talk like that. Show some fighting spirit. You got this." As his words grow louder, tears start rolling down both their faces. Not long after, Ling Min's arm heals. One day, Liatu's mom invites her over for dinner. While cooking, Liatu's mom keeps playing a song on repeat. The song's name is Let's Shake the Sun Together. Ling Min steps into Liatu's room for the first time. The walls are filled with traces of his growth and his mother's love for him. During dinner, they chat about family and work. Ling Min used to be a tour guide but started writing articles for the travel agency's blog after getting sick. Liatu's mom says, "Actually, some friends of mine are planning to come here for a trip next month. Could you help them book a good tour?" Ling Min replies, "No need for that. I'll take them around myself." Liatu's mom asks, "But are you sure your health can handle it?" Ling Min says, "No problem. I'll just do my dialysis in advance. You can count on me to give them the full experience." Just then, Ling Min's phone rings. It's the hospital. They've found a matching kidney donor. Ling Min needs to go register at the hospital right away, but the rain is pouring so hard that the whole city is gridlocked, and they can't even get a taxi. In a rush, Liatu hops on his bike, with Ling Min sitting behind him holding an umbrella, and they pedal straight to the hospital. After what feels like forever, they finally arrive. The doctor successfully registers Ling Min's information. But just then, the doctor gets a call. The donor's family has raised objections, so they'll have to wait for updates. Their hearts sink instantly. As they're leaving, a father and son hurry in. Liatu's eyes instantly fill with hostility. Ling Min explains to him, "Stop staring. Usually, when someone donates both kidneys, it can help two patients with transplants. We're transplant buddies, not rivals. Relax." After that, the two wait outside the hospital for a long time. The father and son are also waiting, but there is only endless disappointment. The family on the other side decides to stop the kidney donation. Seeing the message about the cancelled donation, Ling Min's tears instantly fall. Meanwhile, the son from the father-son pair also waiting for a kidney match loses all hope. The son says to his father, "Just leave me alone, I'm begging you. Please, I can't take it anymore. I want to go home. I can't wait for that kidney. I'm tired. I just can't wait any longer." We always think happiness means having a car, a house, and money. But when we really think about it, it's about being free from sickness, pain, and disaster. On the bus ride home, Ling Min hums the song Liatu's mom used to listen to. The lyrics is "Let's shake the sun together." She doesn't understand why the sun needs to be shaken. But then Liatu suddenly says to her, "Let's get married," even though he jokes that he just wants to find a good home for his kidney. But what he really wants is to give Ling Min a reason to keep living. Besides, his own illness could get worse at any time, and worse means death. Maybe the day after tomorrow. So he wants to give her his kidney, to let her live for him. This is Liatu's unique way of confessing his love. As for the lyrics of "Let's Shake the Sun Together," Liatu has his own take. He says, "The sun rises and sets every day. Even it gets sleepy and tired sometimes. That's why we have cloudy and rainy days. We have to shake it with sheer willpower to wake it up." He's telling Ling Min in his own way, as long as the will stands strong, the sun will eventually rise again. As long as hope remains, tomorrow will still be beautiful. The scene shifts to the next day. The two arrive at the marriage license office. They get married. As they step outside, Ling Min spots a tour group entering a restaurant. A bold idea strikes her. She approaches the tour guide and, after some discussion, secures a chance to speak on stage. She steps up and says, "My beloved Liatu and I just got our marriage license and started our journey together. It's just a shame our family and friends couldn't be here with us. But a wedding is such a big deal. It shouldn't be too quiet, right? Just now, I saw everyone wearing red hats, and with such a festive atmosphere, we decided to join in on the fun and celebrate with all of you. How about we add 2 more dishes to each table? 1 plate of braised pork and 1 plate of fish head with 2 kinds of peppers. It's on us. We hope you'll give us lots of blessings. Thank you, everyone." And just like that, the two had their own unique wedding. Though no family or friends were there, well-wishers kept coming. Though their outfits were simple, the joy of their big day was just as lively as any grand wedding. Later, as they walked home, chatting and laughing, they reached their doorstep when Ling Min spots a familiar face, her ex-boyfriend. He walks over and says he wants to talk. She agrees, and they head to a cafe. Back when Ling Min was diagnosed with kidney failure, her boyfriend vanished without a word, even snipping off a lock of her hair as a keepsake. Now, he pulls out a lock of hair and begs for a second chance, asking her to forgive his past actions. "I'm drowning in online loans," BX says. "I can't even turn on my phone anymore. I should have listened to you. His apology disgusts Ling Min. This isn't the first time. She hands him a card and walks away. She says this was their wedding savings fund. Then she tells him to close his eyes and cuts off a lock of his hair. Ling Min says, now we're even. The hair in this box isn't mine. My hair isn't this nice. Whoever it belongs to, you should return it. Too many love debts will come back to haunt you. With that, Ling Min walks away without looking back and finds Liu Tu, who had been hiding outside watching. Earlier, she had told Liu Tu to go home, but he secretly followed her, afraid her ex would hurt her. Liu Tu says, legally you're my wife. It's only right that I worry about you. Ling Min asks, only legally? Liu Tu replies, I try not to think beyond that. After all, I don't have much time left. Hearing this, Ling Min's tears fall, her heart aching for him. Seeing her tears, Liu Tu gently wipes them away, then licks his fingers after touching her tears. Ling Min asks what he's doing. You told me before that the urine of kidney failure patients doesn't smell. He says, I just wanted to see if tears are salty. You're such a dumbass. Ling Min says, well, I am missing a piece of brain tissue. Liu Tu replies. Ling Min starts laughing through her tears, but then the tears keep falling. And right then, for the first time, she kisses him. At this moment, they're not just a couple bound by an agreement. They're real husband and wife, truly in love. A few days later, Liu Tu's mom's friends arrive as planned. Ling Min acts as their tour guide, showing them around and explaining all the famous landmarks. Over the next few days, both Ling Min and Liu Tu are incredibly happy. It feels like all their past hardships were just leading up to this moment of joy. But during dinner that night, Liu Tu suddenly feels unwell and rushes to the bathroom. Ling Min notices something's wrong and follows him, only to hear him vomiting inside. Is his condition relapsing? That night, back at home, Ling Min digs out Liu Tu's medical records. The next day, she tracks down his doctor using the information from the files. But when she asks, she's stunned, because Liu Tu has been lying to her all along. He isn't terminally ill. With proper treatment, there's a chance he could recover. That evening, Ling Min confronts Liu Tuesday. Why are you giving up? She demands. He says, I don't want to drain mom's retirement savings. Ling Min fires back. If we're short on money, we can borrow. I'll sell everything if I have to. But the real thing Liu Tu fears isn't the cost. It's the brain surgery. It's the endless darkness in the ICU after surgery. It's the fear of reliving that terrible experience. But most of all, it's the fear of not knowing what will happen to Ling Min once he recovers. He just wants Ling Min to live well for his sake. Ling Min says they're married now. He shouldn't just think about himself. But he replies, didn't we get married just so I could give you my kidney? Ling Min asks, is that really what you think our marriage is about? Liu Tu says, besides these 2 kidneys, I don't know what else you'd see in me. Sacrificing yourself for love only ends up torturing the other person. Heartbroken, Ling Min slams their marriage certificate in front of Liu Tu and yells, divorce. We're getting a divorce. Just then, Ling Min's parents walk in and see everything. They probably never imagined things would turn out like this. The first time Ling Min's father meets his new son-in-law is during a messy divorce. After hearing the whole story, Ling Min's dad asks Liu Tu, are you really willing to give your kidney to Ling Min? Ling Min cuts in. Dad, focus. The issue isn't about the kidney, it's that he has to get the surgery. Liu Tu's thoughts are simple. Before, he wanted to use his kidney as a way to secure his mother's future. But now, he just wants Ling Min to live. He wants to give her his second chance, like winning an extra bottle in a soda cap prize. Ling Min says, I don't need it. I'd rather stay on dialysis for life. With that, she walks back to her room. She doesn't want Liu Tu's self-sacrificing gesture. She just wants them both to live. For the next few days, they don't see each other. But the little moments they once shared always find their way into Ling Min's heart when she least expects it. Watching the video Liu Tu made for her, she starts smiling without realizing it, only to burst into tears moments later. Sometimes when she sees birds outside her window, she wonders if they're the AI birds Liu Tu once mentioned. These days, Liu Tu lingers around her building, hoping to catch a glimpse of her, but a nosy real estate agent spots him, filming him on his phone and teasing him like he's some kind of fool. By chance, Ling Min sees this scene. Furious, she storms over and whacks the agent with her backpack. As for why Liu Tu plays along with the agent's antics, he thinks the agent is Ling Min's friend. I just want to see you, Liu Tu says. Ling Min replies, you can see me anytime, as long as you agree to treatment. But Liu Tu stubbornly refuses. I won't go. Then let's get a divorce, Ling Min says. Tomorrow at 9 a.m., I'll be waiting for you at the marriage license office. The next morning, Ling Min arrives at the office. But after waiting for a long time, Liatu never shows up. She calls him, only for his mother to answer. Liatu's condition has worsened. He's now in the hospital. Without hesitation, Ling Min rushes there. After searching, she finds his room, but doesn't go in. Instead, she stands outside, listening to their conversation. Liatu's mom asks the doctor, "Didn't you always say his checkups were fine?" The doctor says, "When did I say that?" Liatu's mom replies, "You told me on WeChat." The doctor says, "That's not my WeChat account." Liatu tells his mom that he registered the account and pretended to be the doctor to trick her. His mom asks, "Why would you do that?" He says, "I don't want treatment anymore. I don't want to live. I'm tired of it all." Liatu's mom slaps him without thinking. Hearing their conversation and his mom's crying, Ling Min at the door feels heartbroken. That night, Liatu's mom goes to Ling Min's house. She says she agrees with Liatu's decision. If that day ever comes, she's okay with him giving his kidney to Ling Min. She just hopes Ling Min can convince Liatu to get treatment. Cut to the next night. Ling Min finds Liatu lying on the rooftop, trying to contact aliens. Liatu knows Ling Min is here to talk him into surgery, but Ling Min says it's not a request, it's an order. She then pulls out the apology letter Liatu gave her earlier, where he promised to do one thing for her. Ling Min says, "Press your thumbprint here, and it's official. You're not backing out, are you?" Liatu doesn't answer directly. Instead, he says he's figured something out. He compares the surgery 4 years ago to winning a free second bottle in a soda cap, a lucky bonus. The heavens gave him 4 extra years to enjoy life, meet the girl he loved, and even get married. He's already grateful for that. Ling Min says, "Funny you mention that." She pulls out a bottle of soda and confidently tells Liatu, "This one's a winner for sure." Liatu doesn't believe her but takes it, opens it, and sure enough, it's a winning bottle. Before he can even react, Ling Min grabs the bottle, screws the cap back on, then whips out her phone, turns on the flashlight, and shines it through the bottom. Turns out, you can see the winning words on the cap when light shines through it. Ling Min says, "Now do you suddenly feel that winning a free extra bottle isn't that exciting anymore?" Then she adds, "I've heard this idea before, that everyone's life script is something they chose themselves after reading it, but they just forgot at the moment of birth." Liatu says, "Then why would I pick such a terrible script?" Ling Min says, "Mine isn't great either, but since we made the choice, there must be a reason for it." Liatu says, "Maybe getting a brain tumor was meant to inspire me to contact aliens. Who knows, maybe I'll become an alien communication expert someday." Ling Min says, "Could be." Liatu says, "But the price is way too high, don't you think?" Ling Min says, "The bigger the sacrifice, the bigger the reward. Maybe you'll even win a Nobel Prize someday. You should focus on things that make you happy. Cry if you want to cry. Laugh if you want to laugh. If you're feeling down, just yell. Go for it." Liatu's heart wavers, but he still worries. What if the surgery fails? What if he's left with lasting damage? What if his life story has no next page? But Ling Min doesn't give him a chance to argue. She picks up the apology letter and says, "I don't want to live for you. I want to live with you." Liatu agrees, then turns to look east and says, "I want to watch the sunrise one more time." He says, "I'll go with you." She replies. They wait together from night until dawn, but the sun never breaks through the morning haze. In the end, Liatu agrees to the surgery. Before entering the operating room, he hands Ling Min a piece of paper. "This is the eulogy I wrote for myself," he says. "If I don't make it, read this at my funeral." Then the screen fades to black. Then, the sound of a eulogy begins. "Hello everyone, I'm Liatu," the voice says. "Right now, I've already left this world. The body is life's fortress, and mine has been breached for far too long." Wait, no, Liatu is still alive. Liatu asks Ling Min why he's not dead, but she's already reading his eulogy. Ling Min says, "Because when you were unconscious, you didn't react to anything else. Only when I read the eulogy did your eyes move." Liatu asks, "Was I out for long?" Ling Min says, 17 days. "Maybe aliens picked up your signal and took your consciousness back to their home planet." Liatu says, "No way. Ever since we met, I changed the Morse code. The signals I send them are a plea to our home planet, to take you back and heal you." After Ling Min tells him that the drink she gave him that night was specially made by a friend, Liatu says, "You dare pull a stunt like this? Is there anything you wouldn't do? Don't tell me even your name is fake. Are you really Lin Min?" Ling Min replies, "I was never Lin Min to begin with. It's Ling Min." Liatu never got her name right, yet he stood by her side as they shook the sun together. In the end, Liatu leaves the hospital, and the two hold their long overdue wedding. At the ceremony, Ling Min isn't wearing her usual arm covers, and Liatu's head is bare. Two broken bodies, now pieced together into one whole family. The movie doesn't show how their story ends. Maybe Liatu's illness comes back one day, or maybe it never does. Maybe Lingnan never gets a kidney transplant, or maybe she does. But none of that really matters. What matters is they found each other. From then on, every day will be bright because they are each other's sunshine. The film, titled Let's Shake the Sun Together, tells the story of two patients. But instead of focusing on sadness, it shows their resilience and kindness in tough times. Even with serious illnesses, they still laugh and mess around. Even when they don't know what tomorrow holds, they live each day to the fullest. It's rare to win another bow from a drink cap, and life isn't always smooth sailing, but they keep going. Just like the sun sometimes dozes off, we can still wake it up with our willpower. This strength helps us face life's challenges and hold on to hope for the future. As Lingnan says, we've already read the script of our lives. Even if it's bad, the fact that we chose to bring it into this world means there's something worth living for. So no matter how good or bad our script is, whether we're happy or not right now, always keep hope for the future. Believe that down the road, our own sunshine will come.